If y'all can't read every word on that board by the time the school year ends, don't expect to pass this class. So hey guys, I was trying to figure out when I was gonna do this video. I was trying to figure out how to do it, how to go about talking about it. You know, what should I say? You know, but eventually I've come to the conclusion that there's never a good time or the perfect time to say anything. I mean, there is, but in this case, it's totally my choice. So, and I did say that I want you guys to get to know me better. But this is very important stuff that I really want to talk to you guys about. And I'm telling you this because I want to, again, encourage people who might be struggling with learning disabilities, like me, that you can rise above it. I want you guys to believe in yourself, that you can make a difference in your own life. Like, you can be your own hero. It's not outside of the realm of possibility that you can actually be your own hero. But of course, a hero's story never begins with him being the hero to himself. It's always beginning with someone rescuing that person for him and nurturing him to become that hero, or him or her, to become the hero or heroine that they are supposed to be. Same for my story. So I want to talk to you guys about my learning disability, my speech problems, how I overcame it, how I was raised in school, and also I want to shine a light on the bullying that took place, not so much from the students, but from the teachers. Mainly one. It was really one. It was two, but mainly one that almost destroyed completely my psyche, my mental, like everything. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that, but I just want to let you guys know I haven't done something like this in a long time, but it's time. Like, I want to talk. I love reaction videos, but I want to talk. So here's my conversational piece number 2. So this is the beginning. Let's start with just my academic part. So I entered school at maybe, I think 4. I think I was 4 years old. I started kindergarten, 4 years old. So kindergarten was not great. We had a teacher named Miss, can I say her name? No one knows Miss Horrid. That I know of. No one knows Miss Horrid, but I'm going to say her name. Miss Horrid. And as her name implied, she was horrid. She was a terrible kindergarten teacher. She acted like she hated kids. My first day there, because I was so attached to my mother and I loved my mom so much, of course, the first day, because my mom dropped me off, seeing her face in my mind, of course, would instantly make me cry. So I cried that day. And yeah, it wasn't a great experience being in kindergarten. I'm going to brush over kindergarten very briefly because we did get a better teacher after Miss Horrid left, Miss Bader. Miss Bader was a little bit better. It's crazy that I remember these people's names at like 4 years of age, and I'm not going to say my age, but I'm older and I remember their names to this day. But Miss Bader, she was a nice teacher, but we didn't learn anything. Miss Horrid was an evil teacher, but we still didn't learn anything. So I didn't really win anything there. Moving from that, summer break hits. I'm out. I pass with flying colors. I pass kindergarten. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. I pass kindergarten, and we go to summer break. My birthday is in the summer, so I turn 5. And after summer break ends, school starts back up. I'm in first grade now. They tell us where our class is and all that good stuff, and then we go to our class. Well, the first day of my first grade class, we did not sit down. All the kids stood up. The teacher hadn't got into the building yet. Actually, no, I think she was in the classroom. She told us, don't sit down, go stand in a single file line facing the door. So we all stood in a single file line facing the door. Y'all, this is the beginning of my downward spiral. Okay, because I never had this problem. My downward spiral. So the first grade teacher, and I'm going to say her by name, Miss Conaway, because I'm pretty sure she's dead and gone by now. She was old then. Miss Conaway got up after all the students were lined up by, facing the door. Reason why we were facing the door was because, as Miss Conaway explained as she got up, there is a chart on the door, right? This chart, okay, has words: cat, dog, walk, ran, sat, sit, this kind of thing. Would, wouldn't, should, shouldn't, could, couldn't, this. And then lower down, the lower you get, the harder the words become, more difficult. And mind you, we're in first grade. Eventually it got to me, and I wasn't good at spelling. I wasn't good at reading. Again, in first grade, I wasn't taught anything. I listened to the teacher read books. I never read them. Never read them. So I'm looking at the words. I know what how cat is spelled. So I spell cat, dog, pig, all that stuff. I get there. Eventually, I don't even get past would, thought, stuff like that. And she looked at me and she told me, go sit down. And eventually it got to everybody. And eventually everybody either got to the middle of the board or halfway, somewhere near the end. And then there was the few select smart kids that got from one end to down bottom. And, those were like instantly, those were Miss Conaway's favorite kids because they could read it from top to bottom. So eventually, like I said, we all had our turns and we sat down after we were done. By the time it got to the last person, that person did their thing, read the little board. When they got to a place where they were either stuck or they completed it, they sat down. Miss Conaway says, if y'all can't read every word on that board by the time the school year ends, don't expect to pass this class. So that shakes me to my core because I could barely read the first few words that were up on that board. We did this every month. At the beginning of every month, we would get in the single file line and do this. Read at the board. Now, because my memory is good, but not so good that I can remember it 365 days. Well, not 365, but because it didn't last during the summertime. But my mind is good, but not so great that I can remember every single day of first grade. I can't tell you what happened every day because every day was kind of the same. Miss Conaway started to believe that I couldn't comprehend, right? She thought I was special in the bad way. We kept going to that stupid board on the door, and I would read my words or whatever. Messed up quite a bit of times. Sat me back down, We did all that stuff. There were days, I'm going over stuff quickly because there's a lot of stuff that she did to me to break me down to the point where I no longer could speak anymore. I stopped talking. You can ask my mother. You can ask my whole family. I stopped talking. I was a mute child because of how she treated me. I didn't open my mouth to speak for nothing. My mother always taught me, and I was taught, in church, to respect your elders. Don't talk back to them. If they're wrong, it's not your place to tell them they're wrong. If they're right, then they're right. But if they're wrong, but you can't tell them. You have to respect them. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you. You're what, polite etiquette, all that crap. My first day in school was terrible. My first day in first grade was terrible. I came home. My mom asked me how was school. I said nothing. I just looked at her and walked to my room. The next day, something else stupid happened. It got to a point where she would single me out almost instantly. And she had predetermined and prognosticated over me that I am this mentally challenged child that can't comprehend anything. She would even treat me like I was some kind of freak child. All the other kids could go play outside, and I would go out there with them. And it's like, oh, yes, we get to go outside and play. I guess it was like a free period that she had. So the kids would go out and play. I'm going out to meet them, to play with them. Miss Conaway calls my name and says, come back to the class. You don't need to be with them. You haven't earned that right to be with them. You need to be studying, getting better at reading and writing and stuff. So she took it upon herself to help me learn how to read, learn how to write. But she did it in such a forceful way that it would make me cry.